ago. We dug our toes inside a Maryland beach, and didn't let our first faint feelings show. Invisibly, they floated out of reach. And then, like anyone who feels unease, we talked and talked, but all that really did was beat and batter us like ocean breeze, and bloody all the nerve ends we had hid. That evening at home we ventured far too near. For safety, both too reckless of how much we frightened one another, fighting fear that festered under every bruising touch. The ache erupted in her furnished room, and we both felt that first foretaste of gloom. 030475. Capitol Hill. She sat in downtown restaurants alone, and read her book until they shut the doors. Defiant, 17, and on her own. She made her coffee last an hour or more. So when I couldn't find her home I ran ridiculously about the neighborhood. A comic maniac who'd been a man, behaving like a wounded coyote would. I circled, almost howling with brute pain, around dark Washington, through every place she ought to be but wasn't, almost insane, ashamed of panicking for a mere face. The restaurants were empty of her everywhere. Could she have drowned in summer's humid air? 051175. The clown. My condescending friends but smiled in sympathy and shame that I had not selected someone slightly prettier. They didn't know I hoped I'd trade my name for something somewhere back inside of her. Around her I was awkward, quiet, cold. Sweet agonies like a gray and graveless ghost. Or else too loud, impressing her with manly noise. That was but adolescent, clumsy bold. Bravado that at best but bores, annoys. And at its worst tells people you're unsure of love and life, and of yourself the most. And so I struggled silly through the pure. I harried friends to make them see her charm. They changed the subject with their half-amused alarm. 061375. Death Cloud. She said she hoped for peace for all mankind, made possible by man's deep-down goodwill, and sorrowed when I told her she was blind to man's inborn desire to maim and kill. One universe united under one large law. Her dream, and dream of countless men before, who looked at life and made believe they saw beyond man's greed and lust for gore. Besides, world law meant world police and fear. I told her gently, and she hated me for hinting her utopia would not appear. For checks and balances on law brings liberty. But still at least we both agreed to dread the poison mushroom looming overhead. 080675, Reverend. 050778. Phil. She had a fellow Quaker waiting back behind that school for her fall return. My inner age went red, then inky black, as cold hard hate began its bitter burn. She called him soft, a coward, so I thought, a pacifist, a scholar, and a boy. And in brute bloody fantasies I fought, and fractured him like some cheap toy. She seldom spoke of him, but when she did, it always caught me with no good defense. And so the jealousy was hardly hid. A stinking cancer she could smell and taste and sense. It ate like acid at our August days. The dread distrust that when it enters, stays. 090575. Blue Ridge. As August melted from its sticky heat, September watched us traveling to where Virginia, South Carolina, both do meet. The Apple Mountains rich with grape and pear. Her family and sister welcomed me, far too polite to ever seem quite real. I drowned in country hospitality and careful conversation at each meal. But underneath I felt a tense unease. Her elder sister seemed to look through all the harmony like some lone bird that sees an animal below about to fail and fall. Our mutual hatred and respect were like the hunted for the hunter as it stalks to strike. 100475. Regicide. We harvested so many grapes each day. Our hands and lips were purpled, stained the shade of royalty, kings gone away to die with queens, till rust remained of each tarnished throne and crumpled gown. Inside her bed at night she floated far from me, and like a knight that tugs a queen's great gown, I knew my enemy was brute eternity, that crushes kingdoms made of stone or dreams. She often mentioned autumn, back at school, her words like shears, slicing well-stitched seams upon the royal tapestry, a cruel, unfitting ending to the fading myth, once woven lovingly, now scissored with. 042476. Mount Terry Station. The ever-yawning distance gap between the two of us, those last September days, and nothing I could say could really mean as much as all the silence in her empty gaze. I packed my summer clothes in hopes, and dressed for autumn that last afternoon, when breezes shook the farm and apple slopes, and rain beat down a bitter, timely tune upon the wooden eaves and winding road, as we drove down together to the train. The loss of our idyllic summer showed upon my face like slashing, whip-struck pain. Her sister on the platform seemed aware and glad of what was swiftly dying there. 050676. Poet birth. 1961. At school I found the spaces in between. Her letters lengthened as the days grew brief, and letters that I wrote were still as green as spring before the fall inflames each leaf that tumbles to the pavement, brown and dead. I read her final one that Saturday, as rage and fierce revenge throbbed in my head. I knew how futile to believe that she, not he, would pay. But still I sampled other faces and sweet hair, and throbbing sighs that couldn't really last. In someone else's eyes, her ghost danced there, reminding me of grief ahead, not past. As winter worsened and I learned to write my first bad poems, full of self-hurt spite. 05/21/76, Reverend. 06/16/90. Erasing all trace of Elaine. It's true, I have forgotten you, Elaine. Utterly, as leaves when leaving summer trees die unremembering as they coast along the breeze. Toward autumn brown, no souvenirs remain. Blurred images efface and fade. I cannot see your plain white dress, bedecked with flowered fineries. Poppies, yellow, orange, with death dark centers. Please believe my love's dissolved, drowned in false gray rain. Through dimming years I'll rarely, anymore, view you in my imaginings. Your summer-tinted hair of golden tone receipts, my lust cannot recall. Your criminally carnal figure, or your rose-flushed mouth, romance lies in death's lair. In winter's pall, I have forgotten all. 0880. Almost. Telepathy. I sat up writing one long verse-filled night. I wrote self-pitied, literary lies that shrank and shriveled in the scornful light of dawn across the mocking saffron skies. That very morning she walked in on me, as if I'd willed her through time, speed, and space. She said she'd just come by to stop and see if I still lived at the same one-room place, as if we were old friends and nothing more. I felt my cracked illusions knit and mend. I hoped my once wet wounds were drained and dried. 05/11/78. Troubadour Tribute. I love the songs of working people played in cabins and at dances, and along highways where the vagabonds wander by, unchanged since days of early English song. The English, Celtic minstrelsy can never die, as long as mandolins and fiddles cry. The ancient ballads of true love turned wrong, of God, and ghosts, and deaths and birth, wherever people and their folklore throng. Out on the sea, or prairies where the songs are made, of people close to water, dust and earth, elements that give music its true worth, as folk song singers ply their timeless trade. 03/30/80. Lured by the looking glass, I'm running backwards down the hall of years, beseeching time to halt. Time turns deaf ears. I race down corridors in quest of you. In vain, echoes mock anew, reverberating in the tunnel of my dreams. Love's playback of my heart-recorded screams. On cold, metallic walls I press a kiss, then realize their surfaces are glass. Reflections, nothing more, and as I pass, their funhouse images distort and bend, while down love's labyrinth I blindly wend. 1983. Elaine, Ethereal. For Marge B. Simon. I glimpse you strolling as you always used to do, graceful as a playful breeze, on the Noah Live with lilies yesterday. You wore that tailored shirt of sailor blue, tattered jeans above your knees, and your dust gold hair in sunny disarray. Erotic wraith, I know you've been untrue. Death's the lover whom you please. He seduced you, pretty phantom, pallid, fey, in denim blue and sunlit gold, and I feel gray as your marker where I kneel and pray. 09/10/82.